So today's lesson is going to be about complex sentences. So we've learned about compound sentences. We have learned about independent and dependent clauses. And so now we're going to focus on subordinating conjunctions to make a complex sentence. So a couple things that you need to know before we start. Right here is this rope I have, okay? This rope is going to represent our subordinating conjunctions in just a little bit, okay? So at the end of each rope, I am going to put a clause at the bottom. And then I'm going to show you how the whole goal is to even out and balance out the sentences that you're making, okay? Because a dependent clause is not going to make sense unless you add something to it and connect it to an independent clause. So we're going to kind of go over that. Okay, so here's our first sentence. So if you notice, I have my independent clause higher than my dependent clause. You can kind of see here. The reason why I did that is because an independent clause can stand on its own while a dependent clause cannot. Okay, so right now they're off balance. You'll see that one is higher than the other. If we look at this one, you will definitely lose. If I were to say that that's a complete thought, makes total sense, you don't try what, okay? So you need to add something to this in order to make it a complete thought or connected to something. So what you'll need is a subordinating conjunction. Now we're going to use a subordinating conjunction, the rope right here, which is represented by this sticky note, to balance it out. We want to always make sure our writing is balanced. So I'm going to put the subordinating conjunction if in there. And so if is representing this whole rope and it's tying together the dependent clause. It's lifting the dependent clause up and making it even with the independent clause. So now we have a sentence. You will definitely lose if you don't try. Here is our next sentence. So if you look, we have the dependent clause, Jack built. That doesn't make sense. What did he build? How did he build it? It just kind of depends on what you're wanting, what information you're wanting. Then we have, this is the house. Now, if I were to add a period at the end of this one, this would make sense. If I pulled up to a home, I said, this is the house, that would make sense, okay? So what we need to do is we need to add a subordinating conjunction to make these balance, to even these out, and it will create a complex sentence. Now, what I have done is I've taken my independent clause, I have combined my dependent clause using my subordinating conjunction, which is that. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, Miss Shirley, that's not even. Well, I'm trying my best, so you're just going to have to go with it, okay? This would be a complex sentence. We're going to do one more. The last couple of sentences we've done, we've always put the independent clause over here and the dependent clause over here. I want you to recognize that that is not always the case. You can start with a dependent clause and end your complex sentence with an independent clause like this. As you can see, I have switched up the order of the dependent and independent clauses. We're actually starting with the dependent clause first and then the independent clause. And the reason why is because we already have our subordinating conjunction. Oh my gosh. We already have our subordinating conjunction in our dependent clause. So if you look here, try to take a guess as to what it is. Make your guesses. Thumbs up if you did it. Okay. So the subordinating conjunction is even. Okay. You could actually combine these two and that would work as well. So because we have our subordinating conjunction, all we would need is a comma to combine these two together. So even though Pavo is hungry, comma, he has to wait until dinner to eat. All right, you guys. There you have it. That is how to make a complex sentence. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help.